All right, what's up, boys? I'm just gonna do a little recording here just for the Discord because I'm gonna be doing like the full thing in my market mastery, but I just want to get one out for you guys because you guys have been asking for it. So I'm just gonna do it right now, and yeah, that's really gonna be it. So yeah, let's just go over it. The strategy is very simple, very easy to do. You just do wherever it's touching a lot, right? So what do you see right here? This one's kind of scuffed, to be honest, but I would still mark it. So we see we touch it here, touch, little touch, and then what do we see? Touch, 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 touch. Basically, what you want to see is just when it gets this level, it turns around. See, it comes down, turn around, comes down, turn around, comes down, turn around, down, but then we come back up, and then turn around, up, and then turn around. And then here, down, turn around. So you just want to see wherever it turns around 100 times, right? So that's what we see, right? And then, I guess for the top level, we would have to do something like this. It would, like, these levels are kind of bad, but I'm still going to show it to you. So this is the best that I would do. Again, these levels don't need to be perfect. They just got to be in the general area, and you should be fine either way. I like to mark these on the 15-minute, but yeah, that's literally it. That's all it is. And we can see this level is validated by the fact that it also touched here and touched here. So there you go. So it's not rocket science. It's very, very simple what I do, and the levels I'm literally just freestyling it. There's no like way to really do it. It's just whatever you think. And I've been trading this now for like a month, so I'm just using my market experience to do these levels. But it's just the general area on where it's tapping a lot, right? And you just do that on the 15, and then yeah, you just get on to the 5-minute market open. Oh my goodness. This is gonna be great. I get to scroll. You guys get to watch me scroll all the way back. What day was it? It was this day. Wow, this is a crazy day. What the freak? All right, so what do we see? So this top level sucks, and the move already happened. So here's the thing. So yes, technically, the strategy is 5-minute breaker structure and then a push above that. The problem is this happened at 9:25. If it breaks out before 9:30, it's 9:31 to whenever. It has to happen after 9:30. If it goes before 9:30, this broke above at 9:25, I do not take it. I don't count it at all. So what do we see? Boom, 5-minute break. It's before 9:30. I don't care. I'm not looking at it. And then what do we see? We see it kind of wick out. Boom, fake out. So when there's a fake out, I love to just be aggressive and enter off rip, like just on the move down. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to stick to my strategy. 5-minute break, push below. All right, what do we see? We see this big ass candle down. Boom. And then 5-minute closes here. 9 times out of 10, I'm probably just going to enter off this just based off my market experience. And if you're in the live streams, you'll obviously see me do that. But let's just say you're not ever going to watch me ever again. So normal strategy, 5-minute break right here. We're looking for a push below. I probably like this push below. So I probably just would have entered. Let's say you get the worst fill of all time. All right, boom. And then stop is going to be when we know it's not going to react off this. Take profit is going to be somewhere, wherever the next level is. Next level is probably like right here. No, that's too close though. So you want at least like a 1-to-1 RR. So what would I have done for the level? Probably something right like this, right? Got these wicks. We got these top wicks, and then we have this big bottom wick. So that would have been good enough for me. And then boom. There you go. Boom. Take profit smashed. Right? There you go. There's a trade. That's literally it. This is a horrible trade because of how big this move down was, but obviously that big of a move down isn't going to happen all the time. So your trades will normally be better than a 1-to-1, 1-to-1.2 RR, but I'm still going to show you it because I just randomly picked this day to do. So yeah, I guess this probably wasn't the best example trade, but that's the reality of it. Not every trade is going to be great. But there you go. Stop again when you know it's not going to react off here. Take profit just at another level. That gives you a decent RR. So yeah, that's it. I marked out the levels on the 15. I waited for 9:30, and then saw, oh, we broke out before 9:30. I don't care. I'm not taking it. And then we waited. Boom. We see a break of the level. Me personally, I'm entering off a push because of the fake out. If there's a fake out, you can be a little bit more aggressive. See, we got that fake out to the upside, and then boom, we push down. So you could have been a little bit more aggressive. But again, if you just want to wait, play it normally. 5-minute break, and then a push below the wick on that 5-minute break, and then you enter. Stop at the upper level, making sure it doesn't just react off of it, and then take profit at the next level. We'll do one more day because I gotta go. I have to go in 9 minutes. So yeah. Oh, look at this, and see, this is how you know you did good levels. You see how this level I put is perfect with the next day? It always does this, guys. If your levels are good, you will know, because the next day it'll follow the levels still. Look, these are levels I did from the previous day. Tap. Like, you probably, honestly, I probably would have added another level right here just because of tap. But this bottom level also perfect. But yeah, so let's do it again. What do we see? Again, boys, 9:25. What do we see? Break. We're not taking that. And then boom. This is like the exact same thing that happened back to back. What? Oh, that's kind of lame. Maybe I'll do one more day. All right, I'll do another day because these are the exact same, because that's really weird. All right, but we break. We don't enter because it's before 9:30. It flips. Candle down. Boom. We see. I probably would have been more aggressive and just entered up here. But let's say you wait. 5-minute candle breaks and closes. The wick's right here. You enter off a push. Boom. Boom ski. And then take profit is somewhere down here. What the freak? Take profit here, I guess. I guess take profit can be off this little chop, these wicks. Yeah, I think that would be a good take profit. Oh, never mind. It doesn't get hit. Oh, that's a 3 RR. Okay, that's a little much. I don't know what I would have done, to be honest. Maybe here. But, yeah, that probably would have been fine. See, this is, if I were to wait all the way down here, it's a 1 to 4 RR. I usually don't go above, like, 1 to 3. So, yeah. Yeah, I would actually say just find a level like in the 1 to 3 RR. The take profits are always tough. There's a lot of stuff, and you can always just trail your stop loss too. So that's the thing. But either way, I remember I took this trade and I won it. So yeah, I don't remember what my take profit was. I assume it was probably this level, maybe a little bit lower. I don't know, but it was somewhere within there. But like I just did, make sure your take profit is somewhere within that 1 to 1 to 1 to 3 range. Anything more is kind of overdoing it, and a lot of times it just won't hit it. So yeah, this probably would have been a good one. 1 to 2, perfect. I usually like to aim for 1 to 2s. So I'll just say that. All right, and then let's just do the next day. Look at this. Our levels are getting played off of again. Oh, this was CPI day. All right, so boom, 9:30. We see this big ass break. Yes, you probably could have taken this on the rise, and then boom, you probably would have won. But what do we see here? We see a move up. Let's just say, okay, we missed it. We can't predict the future. We're doing our normal strategy. 5-minute break. We didn't see the push up. We didn't enter. But what do we see? We see it kind of react off this lower level. So that just means, okay, let's just take a short. And let's say you want to play passive again. You don't take it off rip, and you wait for the closure. Boom. What do we see? We see a 5-minute. Oh wait, you actually would have shorted here. You see a 5-minute close below. Boom, the wick's right here. Push below the wick, you enter, and then my take profit would have been at this level that we already previously marked out. And a lot of times, boys, like I didn't even have to mark areas because the areas are already set. Look, these are perfect areas that I just set from previous days. So there you go. Take profit would have barely been hit, which is really lucky, but yeah, boom, there you go. So. Only thing I kind of messed up on the take profit on this. Make sure your take profits aren't too far. If you watch me live, you know that my take profits are normally way closer, and I would never do a take profit really down there. I like to just take my money. But yeah, so I guess just reevaluating myself, just do a take profit between like 1 to 1 to 1 to 2.5, 1 to 1 to 1.3, or 1 to 1 to 1 to 3. Somewhere within those range. Don't do it crazy. Don't overdo it. Don't get greedy. And obviously, if you want to be crazy, you can do the fucking 1 to 10 RR, but just put your stop to break even once you get a certain ways down. So yeah, that's basically it, boys. It's literally it. It's very simple. There's not really too much for me to go over. Just mark out the levels where it touches a lot on the 15. If your levels are good, they'll be played off of later in later days. You don't even have to remake them. And then you just wait for a 5-minute candle closure above or below one of them, and then you wait for a push below that wick to enter. That's it. And then obviously, if you live trade with me, you'll see that I'm very more just intuition based. Like here, I probably just would have entered like right here, to be honest. I definitely would have entered earlier on this just because fake out, rejection, and then a go. I would just take that anyway. So yeah. So there's a lot of intuition, a lot of market experience that comes into play, but just as the base, I'm just going to give you this video. Kind of a shitty video, to be honest, but it's whatever. Better than nothing. So yeah, this is just a little really short version of the strategy. And obviously, you'll probably learn more just watching me live trade, and you'll learn more once I actually have the full video out on market mastery. Wow, this is brutal. I stuttered so much, and I borderline fucked up one of my take profits. So yeah, anyway, I appreciate you guys, and I just whipped this up really quickly because you guys were asking after going 3 minutes. So yeah, I apologize that this is a shitty video. This is going to be the placeholder until the real one comes out. But yeah, I appreciate you all. See ya.